Hey guys, welcome back to Active Body Clear Mind. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to squat safely and show you 4 ways how to squat. So we're going to be going over the high bar back squat, the low bar back squat, front squat, cross arm front squat. But first, I just want to go over some safety things and give you guys some tips. So the most important thing is know how much your bar weighs. This bar is 45 pounds, but there are some bars at some gyms that are 35 pounds. Make sure you have your hooks set into place. So when we're looking at back squat, we want the bar to be about chest height. So if you're back squatting or front squatting with a partner, and that partner is shorter than you, set it up to their height instead of yours, because it's a lot safer for you to have to go down a little bit more to lift the bar up than them to have 200 pounds on the squat rack and have to try and get up on their tippy toes and try and maneuver it back into the rack and the hooks. The next thing, make sure if you don't have a spotter, even if you do have a spotter, have these safety catches on. These safety hooks will help you, so that way if you need to bail, you can just go down and drop the weight on these hooks. So I like to set them to between my knee and my hip height. That way it allows me to really get that depth, but it is still high enough that it's not going to crush me when I'm on the ground, and I'm not going to feel like that I can't get out and feel stuck, because that sometimes happens and people panic. Also, if you are squatting at a gym, you don't have a spotter, and you don't have safety hooks, and you absolutely need to squat, the safest way to bail out of a squat is you're going to push the weight backwards over you while you lean forward. So that way you're going in the opposite direction of the weight and it doesn't crush you or land on your body at all in any way. Just some things to keep in mind when you're squatting. Remember, we want our feet to be shoulder width apart. If you've never squatted before, never found that width, start close, take baby steps side to side, and then you'll reach a point where then your feet aren't getting wider anymore and they're just naturally at that position. That's the position that you want to squat at. You want your toes to be pointing forward or slightly turned out, but not turned out to the point where your knees and everything are pointing out too. We want to make sure that our knees stay over our toes and they don't come too far over our toes. If you are taller, it is okay that your knees do come over your toes, because people have different femur lengths and different tibial lengths and such. So not everyone's going to be the same. So you can't just say across the board that no, don't have your knees go over your toes, because some people won't be able to get that depth that we want. Also, for everyone, make sure your knees aren't caving in and make sure your knees aren't caving out. The best way to find out if you're doing this is to record yourself, do it in front of a mirror, and if you notice that your knees are caving in, simple fix, put a band around your legs so you're consciously pushing the band outwards, and you are less likely to cave your knees in when you make that fix. Alright, so the first squat I'm going to be showing you guys is the high bar back squat, your normal average back squat. So you got your shoulder blade here, and then you got your neck. You don't want to be putting the bar on your neck, but you also don't want it super low so it's on your shoulder blade. You kind of want it in that soft, meaty spot right here, and kind of use it as a shelf. You want your shoulders back, and that will really help that bar stay in place. So just show you how that looks. Your width isn't too concerning for me. Just put your hands where they're comfortable. Some people like it in close, some people like it out. It doesn't really matter for this. So come under, push up, and then we're going to step back, get our feet good. And then once we're set, that's when we're going to start to squat. And to re-rack, come forward until you hear both sides of the bar, hit the rack, slide it down to the bottom of the hooks, and then come out from underneath the bar. If you have a spotter or you are lifting really heavy weight, make sure you have someone to help you guide that weight back into the hooks. It just makes it safer, less likely for you to get injured. Now I'm going to demo how to squat the normal back squat or high back squat with a little bit of weight on the bar. Remember, whenever you are using weight, to put these collars on the bar. They look different depending on the gym you're at, but this makes it so the weights won't slide around. So you want to push your hips back first, then bend your knees, push with your feet to come back up. Make sure you're not coming up on your heels, and your weight is spread out between the whole foot and not just on your toes, and not just on your heels either, so your toes can come up. Make sure your back is flat and not arching like this. Flat back, butt back, come up. Now I'm going to be showing you guys the positioning for the low bar back squat. So same thing with the feet, the mechanics, hips back, the knees, all that's the same. What's going to change is just the position of the bar. So instead of putting it like up here on the meaty part of your neck, you're going to have it lower, right on your posterior delts, kind of on the spine of your shoulder blade, right around there. Unrack, widen your feet, down, up, down. Again, walk forward until it hits, come back down. So you really want to make sure that you're squeezing that bar into your back so the bar doesn't move at all. I'm going to show you how to squat low bar from a different angle with some weight. Make sure we're not leaning too far forward with the bar. We want our chest to be up and straight, but we also don't want to be forward either. Showing you guys how to front squat. So normally you would want to face inside the rack, but if I face inside the rack, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to show it to you from this angle, and then we'll go to the side angle, and I'll show you how to squat that way. So some things to remember is I like to use just 3 fingers because your wrists really aren't carrying the weight of the squat. They're just kind of there to hold it in place so the bar doesn't move. They're just little placeholders kind of in position. You want to place the bar kind of right along your collarbones, right around here. You want to keep your arms and elbows up, pointing at the wall in front of you. Make sure you're not out and make sure you're not in. Just like a normal squat, just in a different position. When you guys are front squatting, especially for the first time, keep in mind that you can't front squat as much as you can back squat, especially to begin with. A lot of people are limited with the amount of weight that their upper body can hold in this position compared to a back squat where it's just kind of setting there. For the last squat variation, it's going to be the front squat with crossed arms. Again, sorry for the kids screaming in the background. So I'm going to show you facing this way, just because if I did it the opposite way, you wouldn't really be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you from this angle and then from the side like I did before. So again, you're going to put it on the same placement, like right on your collarbones up here. You're going to come underneath, cross your arms, unrack, and come forward. You really want to make sure you're on the center of the bar. Keep your elbows up, pointing towards the. So you may be able to do a little more weight on this type of front squat than the last one I showed you, but it's still going to be less than you can do with the back squat. Once you start building up, you may be able to do the same amount or may be able to do more, but back squat is typically a lot easier for most people. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope